All right. I think we're live. Okay. So, hey Paris, nice to see you on. Can you just chat something in there? Let me know if you can hear me okay? It's my first time going live here, so I'm learning as we go. Phone number to call if you have questions, 941-259-4779. Thanks, Paris. I appreciate you confirming that. Number to call again is 941-259-4779. Get your questions answered live on the air. So I guess I'll go ahead and kind of seed this call for you guys in case anybody's out there watching and nobody's calling in yet. So give you a little bit of an idea of what I'm looking to try to do here is I'm looking to answer your questions about anything to do with starting a business, saving money, or investing so your money can grow. So if you guys have your questions, now's the chance to call in. Number again is 941-259-4779. Call in, get your questions answered. In the meantime, I'll give you a little bit of a background of what we're trying to do here. I'd like to set this up, do this maybe weekly or bi-weekly, where we all get together. I answer your questions live, unfiltered, unscripted, raw and uncut. I know most of the time you see a live, you kind of see people kind of talking to themselves for about an hour and a half. I'm not looking to do that. Hopefully we keep this nice and tight, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes max at the most. Try to fit in about, maybe 2 or 3 calls, about 5 minutes apiece. Try to save some room for everybody out here. Here we go. I think we got a call. Let's see. Nope, false alarm. So again, I'm looking to keep these things nice and short. So if nobody joins in the next, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, I'll just call this a wrap. I'll leave this up on the channel. This way you guys can get an idea of what I'm trying to do here. This way you can set that reminder and join next week. And again, number to call is 941-259-4779. Here we go. You're on the line live with ELI 5.
Hey there, this is Tom.
Hey, how's it going, Tom? What questions can I answer for you today?
So I've got a few questions. Really, I'm a big fan of tech entrepreneurs and anybody who makes their own money, aside from the 9-to-5 job.
Yep.
How did you know when you're ready to start your first tech business? Because I know that tech is really big. It sounds like pretty daunting. I think I want to start my own business, but like computers and IT and coding sounds very intimidating to me. How'd you get started?
Yeah, so that's actually an interesting question. I appreciate you asking that. So I kind of got started by accident. I had started my career when I was about 17 in the real estate industry, doing mortgage processing, and I eventually got my real estate license at 18. And one of the owners of that company was actually very technical. He had a pretty good technical background. He was very much into technology and things like that. So I learned a lot from him. And as the dot-com boom was going on in the late 90s, early 2000s, I felt like, you know
Mhm.
what, this is really where the money is right now. It just represented so much opportunity. So I transitioned out of that, real estate mortgage industry into the technology space because it was just so exciting. I just really wanted to get into it. So I had started an e-commerce business. I knew nothing about the business, but it was just a matter of jumping in head first, getting started, and kind of learning along the way.
What does that mean, e-commerce? I still don't even know what that means.
Yeah, so we had started a business. In particular, this was motorcycle parts and accessories, but it was
Oh.
selling products, whether they're physical products or virtual products, online where people can purchase them without having to physically walk into a brick and mortar store.
Oh, I see. You guys were like an online store for like a specific, like a
That's
themed product or a theme of products.
that's exactly right.
Okay. Did you take out an SBA loan or anything like that? Did you need a loan to get started?
No, no. I started with two partners. We chipped in, maybe I think it was like $500 a piece, and we just started, bootstrapping. We just, we took the computers that we had, we started building out the online storefront, and meeting suppliers and just kind of really putting in that sweat equity in order to build something that can then sustain itself with its own, sales and profits.
Bootstrapping, I've heard it before. I don't know what that means.
So essentially, that just means operating very lean. So you may not have very much money to start out with. That's the case with quite a few people looking to start a business. So and we were in that same boat, and so we didn't have very much in terms of monetary resources. So we had to just really figure out how can we start this with the least amount of money using our effort as like I said, sweat equity.
So it's kind of like sweat equity. It's like a similar kind of, but it's like the beginning, like the start.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Um, then another question that I have is there anything wrong with using a free medium or a free service or a free platform, but charging? Like, for example, I wanted to start a business where I meet with people over the computer, like Google Hangouts or something like that. Is Do I need to get some sort of a like permission or license from Google Hangouts and Zoom and all these teleconferences as long as the service is free for me to use for that hour, 2 hour session with a client?
So let me see if I understand the question right. So you're
Mhm.
using a platform of some sort as a tool in your business, right? So yeah, I mean those tools should be for if you're even if it's free, you should be allowed to use it. Check their terms and conditions. Some
Oh.
things may have certain things like not for profit use, not for actual business use, but yeah, as long as it's not forbidden in their terms of service, you can feel free to use the tools however you'd like.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't filing anything or there wasn't some sort of like a premium version of it
Hmm.
that I mean, I know there's a premium of everything, but that I'm like required to use.
Right. A lot of times the premium versions are for additional features that you most likely will probably need. But getting started, again, going back to bootstrapping, using free tools, that's a great way to get started.
Mhm.
It may not have exactly the features you need, but you can grow into it and hopefully you'll be making money. And at that point, then you can spend some of that money to, kind of upgrade these tools that you have.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Of
One last
course.
question too.
Sure.
Final question. What do you think of what do you think of Bitcoin?
Bitcoin, I actually have I don't know if I should disclose well, it's not very much. I think I have like about a half of a Bitcoin that I bought at the end of
It's like
20.
4,000.
Yeah, I bought it around the end of 2017, right before it had crashed. I think it was like December. It was like 2 months before it had crashed, and I just decided, you know what, I'm in it for, kind of the same way you would go to like a casino, and you play the slots or the table games, that sort of thing. You're not gonna. I mean, most people know they're not gonna make a fortune. It's just for entertainment purposes, and so that's the way I look at cryptocurrencies in general. Specifically, like I said, I do have a half a Bitcoin and I do have two Ethereums as well. So, and again, I bought those the end of 2017, and I'm just holding them, for the long term, just to kind of see, ride it out, the ups and downs, and see where it ends up. I mean, yeah, it could create some crazy payday, but I'm not, betting my future on it.
Hmm. I mean, like Warren Buffett is calling it rat poison, saying that it's not an asset based on any sort of production or any sort of team of people that build value to other people. It's just some sort of, I don't know, I guess like a play money thing, like a fake monopoly money thing that we all just agreed it to
Mhm.
be money. But then I guess because each one has an individual identity too, that could kind of, I feel like, okay, well, I feel stuck between it's play money, like what Warren Buffett says, and it's legit because how much Elon Musk bought $2 billion? I mean, does that almost instantly legitimize Bitcoin when somebody on Earth owns $2 billion worth of it?
uh, wait, repeat that one more time. So we're
Like, where do you stand? I mean, is it sorry, is it like a joke? Is it like not a real thing, like not a valuable asset or even money? Or like how people trade baseball cards for $100,000? Obviously, it's a piece of cardboard with an image on it. Or is it really like something in the future, something big? Because, and also, did Elon Musk legitimize it when he? What did he buy, $1 or $2 billion of Bitcoin?
Well, yeah, so there's quite a bit to unpack there. So, first off, this is very unprecedented. There's been nothing like this before, a cryptocurrency. So, the very first thing that people should do if they're interested in cryptocurrency is learn a little bit more about the blockchain and that technology. It's a little bit out of the scope of me being able to answer this here in a few minutes, but look into blockchain, how that works. Blockchain itself, there's so many use cases for it. Bitcoin, and having stores of value being one. But it's a very interesting technology, very new and unprecedented. So take a look into that first. And if you're interested also in specifically investing in Bitcoin, take a look at the Bitcoin white paper as well, because just do some research on this sort of thing. This goes for any sort of, I don't consider cryptocurrency an investment. I consider it more of a speculation. But this goes for
Hmm.
any sort of investment or speculation. Is always do your homework, always do your research. Don't rely upon things you hear in the news or things you hear from a friend or most people online or things like that. Do your own research. Make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you understand it fully before you invest in it. So in terms of Elon Musk, uh, he has a bit of a history of I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to call him a troll or things like that, but he has a unique way of he's a I'm at a loss for words, but and I don't want to say pump and dump or anything like that, but yeah, in terms of legitimizing it, yeah,
Oh.
it does sort of legitimize it when more people get on board. So if you look throughout the years and you hear about these different Bitcoin ETFs or any sort of news that you hear about money flowing
There's
into it,
Bitcoin
always got
ETFs.
what was that?
There are Bitcoin ETFs now?
Yeah, yeah. So
Well,
also another
wow.
thing people were getting into was like a Bitcoin IRAs. So it's almost again like
Okay.
legitimizing it. Oh, retirement plan sounds legitimate. And so every time you hear about things like this, it sort of pops the price up a little bit, and then there's always this inevitable crash that always seems to occur, like when we hit these all-time highs. So I was actually pretty tempted to kind of cash out when I saw it hit its all-time highs recently. And I'm still kind of holding, speculating a little bit here.
Wow. Wow, It's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm interested in all this stuff. I figured you might know because you're the tech guy. I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Any other questions that you have around business, investing, saving money?
Um, I know I do. I didn't come with any more. Let me think though. About the Bitcoin. Um, okay, like index funds. I'm pretty sure that index funds are like the safest thing that you can invest in as far as the stock market goes. I mean,
Index
nothing is
funds.
100% safe.
Yeah, index funds are a really great tool for people who don't have much time to research individual stocks and spend their whole day, trading in and out of certain positions. I like them just because I spend a lot of time focusing on starting and running businesses. And I'm not a day trader. I'm not, a wealth manager or anything like that. But I do like to do it yourself and save a little bit of money on wealth management fees. So yeah, I just pile all my money mostly for my equity exposure into index funds because the expense ratios are low. I'm managing it myself, so
Hmm.
there's no management fee. And I may be getting, average market returns, but that's okay by me because when I'm down, I'm having average losses and not, massive losses as well. So even though I'm in it for growth, I like the idea of simplifying it, and uh, index funds are just super easy, super simple. You don't have to even think about it. I put it on a schedule, and it just automatically pulls money out in a schedule, and I'm getting invested without even the psychology of overthinking things.
Which index fund is best for beginners?
I would stick. Well, in terms of what I'm in VFIAX and VTSAX, which are both Vanguard index funds. One is a S&P 500 index fund, and one is a total stock market index fund. So it's representation of the entire stock market, from small caps all the way to large cap stocks.
Whoa. Okay. I'm going to look into that. I've got until I'm 65 and a half. I've got about 31 years. I haven't really been contributing to. I buy other things that I think are of value, and my goal is to buy multiple real estate properties. So I haven't really. There's a small thing I've been contributing, and then back in like a 401k, different retirement plans. But I mean, it's not like too late for me to start contributing to an index, right?
It's never too late. No, I got started when because I had lost everything in the 2008 global financial crisis, and I had to kind of start back over from well, less than zero, but I had to start over from scratch. And I think I started investing in in index funds. I think it was in like the early 2017 was when my hosting business, which was a side hustle at the time, started producing so much money that I felt like it needed to be invested, and so I really tried to learn quite a bit about what do I need to do to invest this. I wanted to be smarter this time around than I was the previous go around when I had lost everything. And so I've been investing in index funds only since like 2017 or so, and we've pretty much only, with the exception of everything that happened over the spring, we've only really seen a bull market. But if you have a long enough time horizon, don't worry about these ups and downs. Just keep investing, stick to the plan, and it's never too late to start. It's always good to start early. It would have been ideal for you to start when you were 1 years old, but everybody's at a different point in their life. But it's never too late to start. Don't use it as an excuse to not invest. Always just start where you are.
Okay. When when everything hit and you were wiped back down, did they can they actually like garner your, like, say if you paid as much as you can for your debt,
Hmm.
could they come after your stocks? They make you like cash out your stocks? I never
Well,
thought of that. Like if
yeah,
you
you have to remember
owe
there's a
somebody.
there's a, a statute of limitations on debt. So every state has a different statute of limitations on debt. So yeah, if it runs beyond that, then they have no claim to it. But yeah, I mean technically all of your assets are at risk if if you have any sort of liabilities like that.
That's why you want to hold everything like that in a corporation or some sort of entity, right? Even if you go bankrupt,
Well,
it'll be separate from you.
yeah, I mean that kind of complicates things a little bit. Sure, there's some fancy things you can do with trusts and entities and those sort of things, but I feel like the best way is if you have a business, get it protected with an entity. And then you can do certain things, estate planning and estate, asset protection, where you can protect a lot of your assets. Another big thing too is umbrella insurance. That's very important in terms of not in terms of debt, but in terms of liability, slip and fall. Somebody falls on your property, or you get into a car accident. Anything can happen, but that's um, I know it's unrelated to debt and that sort of thing, but I wanted to bring it up since we're kind of in that area.
Wow. Okay. I'll definitely take everything into consideration for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much for joining.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay. Bye.
All right. So I'm going to give this about another, I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. Like I said, I only want to keep these things down to about a good, 20, 30 minutes of time here. So let's see if we can squeeze in one more call. The number to call is 941-259-4779. So give you about another minute or two to call in. If not, then we'll wrap this up and we'll meet back up again next week. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody's time. Hopefully we can make this a thing. Jot down this number again one more time. I'm going to give it to you here. Number is 941-259-4779. So jot down that number. Keep that in your phone so this way when we meet up next week, 2:30 Eastern Time, then you can get your questions answered. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining.